Good evening to anybody who is in the live stream, has jumped on, is on board, or is joining at some point, or maybe watching this back. I think it will be made public. Hopefully the quality of the stream is good. Hopefully anyone watching can hear me. Microphone sounds all good. And welcome to the first Project Boro live stream that we're doing on the channel, which could work, could be brilliant, could be terrible, might do it more, might never do it again, but yeah, it's an opportunity for us to maybe have a bit more of a Q&A chat about Boro right now, and it feels like a pretty good time to do a Q&A, given the fact that Middlesbrough's current form is so poor and managers under pressure and so much is up in the air. So if anyone is watching, do let me know if you can hear me all right and everything's good. Sounds good, views are good, all that jazz. I have got a 30-second delay on comments, just in case anyone starts spamming. And you can only comment if you are a subscriber. So if you want to leave a question or a comment, then do hit the subscribe button, and we can discuss all things Boro. And if you want to become a moderator as well, I believe I can do that too if you want to be a moderator. Just to keep an eye on and kick out any bad comments you might get, might not get, but it's there as a precaution. I'm sure there's a way you can pop up comments onto the actual screen. I'm sure there's a way of doing that. Might have to have a quick look at doing that. But good evening to Hector. Welcome. Hello, my good friend Josh, one of the grizzled ancients. Been a subscriber for a hell of a long time. Thanks for jumping on, mate. Hello to my lovely lady, my missus Liv, who is having to work this evening. Incredibly late. So, yeah, give some sympathy Liv's way. She's working late tonight. Because I'm sat in the house on my own, I thought I'd, sit with you guys instead. And hello to King Eli. Good evening and thanks for joining. I'm going to see if there's must be a way of popping comments up onto the screen, if any particularly good comments come up. Pop-up dashboard. Start a Q&A, answer viewer questions live. There's quite a few things we can do. I'm just trying to see if there's a way we can have comments pop up on the screen. I've seen loads of people do it and it sounds like it's easy. How to display YouTube comments on a live stream. Tap the live comments tab, speech bubble icon. Once you are live, let's have a little look. Once you are live, tap the live comments tab, speech bubble in the tab bars. Audience members comment, the comment will appear. Not sure. But anyway, we'll roll with it. The comments are in the chat anyway. Thank you for all jumping on. Adam Fall, thank you for jumping on, bud. What did you make of Carrick's more bullish comments in the latest presser? Also, how much of a legend is Dom Shaw? Dom Shaw's an absolute legend. He's an icon. He's probably the most reliable journalist, I would say. There's a few really awesome journalists in Boro. Whatever you want to call it. Community, fandom. I don't know what you want to call it. Dom Shaw's probably the most reliable. He's always first to squash any transfer news. So whenever we're linked with somebody, your instant reaction is to go, right, is Dom Shaw going to shortly follow this up with a with a tweet instantly saying, no, it's not happening. So, yeah, I think he's brilliant, Dom. He does a great podcast as well. You probably know of it. He does one with his colleague Scott Wilson from the Northern Echo. They have a podcast called You Are My Boro, which is really good. Really insightful, 2 really good journals, good discussion, spot on. But yeah, Dom Shaw's awesome. And I'm going to be honest, Adam, I haven't watched any of Carrick's press conference. I'm at the point now where I've just checked out. I'm sick of hearing talk. I'm sick of hearing words now. I'm like, okay, Carrick, we hear the same things every week. Instead of talking the talk, it's time to walk the walk now. So I'm at the point now where I want to see action on the pitch, and the words don't matter. I've seen a few comments that have been quoted and shared on Sky Sports and stuff. But at this point, he could say anything. I'm just hoping and waiting that we start seeing it actually, well, in action on the pitch. So it's up to him now. It's up to the team. Hector, I'm a Cov fan, so won't comment tonight. Just wanted to support your live stream. Really enjoy your channel. Well, thank you very much, Hector. Appreciate that from a Cov fan. I mean, it's great for you guys how well you've done and how Lampard's turned the ship around. It's but I always expected Coventry to turn it around. They just always, second half of the season, Coventry always start picking up form, and it's at the exact same time we've fallen off a cliff. So now that final day at the CBS is looking terrifying. I am not looking forward to that at all. I was thinking, it's going to be a playoff decider. But if we keep going the way we're going, you'll be fighting for 5th and we'll be fighting for 12th. So, yeah. Coventry are doing what Coventry do in the second half of the season. We're doing what Boro normally do in the second half of our season, which is fall like a stone. But thanks for jumping on, mate. I appreciate that, especially when fans of other clubs jump on and support. King Lights, impressive, Matt, how you've come along, considering I've been with you from F1, man. FIFA 21. Yeah, it's been, I've said quite a bit, it's, it took some time for the channel to find its identity, really. Given the fact I've loved Boro for 20 years, I'm surprised it took me this long to actually start making content for Boro and about Boro. But, yeah, it's, as I say, it's the way the channel's gone. Yeah, gaming stuff might still come back. As I said in an update video I did a while back, it's doing it consistently across the year. It's so difficult. And man, the FIFA games suck now. They're just they just can't get into to EAFC anymore. So maybe we'll do a few more gaming bits in the summer when Boro's season's over, if it's not over already. But yeah, I appreciate the comment, mate. And yeah, channel's doing good. Josh, I stream using StreamYard. It's pretty easy. What are you using? I'm using OBS, mate. That's how I know how to change scenes, etc. So we can pop into a break like that. I was watching a Sheffield United channel do it the other day, and the comments were just popping up in the bottom corner, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? It's just so people can see the comments that are actually dropping in. They don't have to have the live chat open all the time. How to display YouTube comments on a live stream in OBS? Using OBS? Displaying YouTube live chat comments on stream. There's got to be a way of doing it. Oh, it's a widget. Uses a browser source to take OBS with itself. It runs. There's a widget there. I'm asking a lot of my Mac to to do multiple things at once. It is a good Mac, so maybe that's the way to do it. I should probably do a test live stream and try and do it. Maybe we'll see. But if there's any other ideas, do let me know. Evening, Steve. Thanks for jumping on, mate. I see you in the comments quite regularly. Thank you for jumping on. Hector, just to say, I think you should stick with MC for a bit longer. He's young and learning, but when you were playing well, it's as good as I've ever seen. Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that. When Boro are at their best, we are. I think we're up there with Leeds. I wouldn't say we're the best team in the league, but we could probably be with Leeds. We could compete with Leeds if we were, on it. I mean, the cup game earlier in the season. I think it was the second game of the season. We went to Welland Road. They made 9 changes. I think we made 8. So relative to the squads, we both made changes, and we absolutely played them off the park. We just tore them to pieces. And I thought, in typical Boro fashion, early in the season, I thought, oh my God, we're looking good. This is the season. We look like and Leeds were the favourites, and we've just wiped the floor with them. I thought, here we go. But don't do it enough. And there's other characteristics to this team that needs to be much better than just us being fancy on the eye. We need to be stronger. We need to be more robust. We need to be better defensively. There's a number of things we need to do better that Leeds do. But the football we play is too high risk. When it comes off, it's great. But when it doesn't, we just fall to pieces and we get tore apart. So we can't be successful playing this way because it doesn't work consistently enough. So on our day, albeit it's worth us sticking with Michael Carrick, because on our day we play good stuff. He has to add new layers to this Boro team. He's going to have to firstly get us playing better defensively. He then has to, I think, simplify things, tweak the system, just get us winning games, get us to stop conceding goals first and foremost. And then maybe we can pick and choose when to play our way, because at the minute we just play our way regardless, and it's just getting us into more trouble. But it's a results business, It's all good playing fancy football, but if you're losing every week, it's no good. So, yeah, I think the issue he's got is he's lost the fans. I would say losing the fans, but I feel like he's lost the fans. So recovering that is going to be difficult, especially at the weekend. If you were there at the weekend, you saw the atmosphere at Watford. It was horrific. Like, I hated being in that ground on Saturday. Absolutely hated being in that ground. So I'm surprised that they've stuck with him given the time of the season and the atmosphere on Saturday. But as I say, I stand by what I've said. If the next game was a home game, I don't think he'd still be here. I don't think they'd have risked another home atmosphere like that, especially when season ticket renewals went out yesterday. I think they've looked and thought, right, the next 2 are away from home, so maybe there's a bit less pressure on him being on the road, and one of them's a game in hand. So if he wins the game in hand, it's different. It changes the complex a little bit, because I mean you could argue our league position is currently a false position, and we could be 3 points better off if we win our game in hand against Stoke, and then suddenly you're 1 point off the playoffs. It doesn't look as bad, but we've got to win that game in hand, and right now we don't look like beating anybody. So yeah, the next 2, he's got to win one, if not both. Otherwise, I think the club are in no position, because once you lose the fans, it's game over, I think. Steve Pearce, thank you for commenting, Steve. If I was Carrick and knackered up my save-on fee for this way, and then the transfer window shut, I'd reload. How viable is 5 at the back for the rest of the season? I love your formation. Yeah, you know what? I'm at a point, mate, where I think we've got no choice. I don't think we've helped ourselves in the window with the personnel we've left ourselves with. We've not give ourselves enough cover at right back or right centre back to really play a 5 at the back, because one injury in any of them positions and we're screwed. That's our own fault. I don't know why. To this day, I don't know why we've left ourselves with so little at the back. But I think he's just got to try and get that system to work, because it's the only time I've seen us more balanced. And if you think back to last season, we went through a rough spell. I think it was a bit later in the season than this, but I remember we had that. I think we had the Stoke game, didn't we? And we lost, and it put us within 3 or 4 points of off the bottom 3. We were on the teetering on the brink of falling into a relegation battle, and he switched to a back 3, and it got us going again. I remember the Leicester game away from home at the King Power. We played 3 at the back. We were outstanding, brilliant on the counter. At home to Chelsea in the FA Cup, the League Cup semi-final first leg, back 3. Got lucky that game. Chelsea still missed some absolute sitters, but I thought we were just so much better. And you can still attack. You can still, it's not like you're parking the bus with 3 at the back. So it's worked for him before as a stopgap to just stop the rot and get us going, and then he's always returned back to his 4 at the back. But for me, he's just got to do it. He's got to switch it up. Because although we tried at the weekend, it was still quite similar to what we've already been doing. So, yeah. If he tries to play the same way against Stoke, as I mentioned in the preview, Stoke, I've just saw a Stoke comment drop, against Bristol City. I don't know if you watched my Project Boro preview, but they play with a front 3. And they've got 2 very good centre mids. So if we turn the ball over in midfield and have the we get outnumbered, like we were against Sheffield United, for example, we're going to get destroyed at Bristol City. So a back 3 would make perfect sense. Will he do it? Probably not. We'll see. Steve Wright. There's 2 Steves, so I'll address you by your full name, Steve Pearce. Steve Wright. Might you seem a bit more calmer today after the Watford game? Personally, it's getting a bit of a chore going to work on a Monday morning fuming. Hopefully Carrick will have us to reset and go again. Yeah, a chore is a perfect way of describing it, mate, to be honest. It's apathy is completely set in with me and a lot of people who I know. And the next 2 games, we're just sort of looking at it and just going, if he wins both, great. If he doesn't, then it's got to be game over for me. I wasn't quite wishing for Carrick out after the Watford game, although I could see why we do it. But I think if we loses the next 2, there's just no argument at all. No argument whatsoever. So we're hoping he can pull out something that he's not done before. And he can find a way. But it's blind faith. Let's be brutally honest, it's blind faith. There is nothing at the minute to suggest that this team will turn it around. It's blind faith. That's the territory we're in. Hoping we'll see something we haven't seen all season, which is winning back-to-back games. Go on a run. Are you going to Stoke, King Eli? I'm not going to Stoke. No, I am. Quite honestly, Bristol City and Stoke are probably the last 2 places I'd want to be right now. I don't know our away fixtures off by heart. I know Liv wants to go to Sheffield Wednesday over Easter weekend, so we might be going to Hillsborough. We might have probably entertained Stoke until it got moved, but yeah, we'll be going to it. It's a Wednesday, it's midweek as well, so I'd need days off work and stuff. So yeah, I'll be watching the next 2 away games at home behind the sofa. That's where I'll be watching it from. Steve Wright, if we click again and manage to get into the playoffs, I don't think many teams will fancy playing us, especially if we get the defence sorted. Yeah, the only thing I can see with us, we're so hot and cold, we'd have to go into the playoffs in form. This sweet spot that Boro operate in, we only find this sweet spot every so often. We've not found it since November. We'd have to go in and find the sweet spot, and we'd have to be going into the playoffs on fire. If we went in like with how we finished last season, because we finished last season, I think it was 1 defeat in 12. If we can go into the playoffs, let's firstly just say if we get playoffs. I can't believe that's even a question, really. But if we get into the playoffs and we're in that sort of form, then there's a chance, because momentum is key in the playoffs. I don't care what anyone says. I know there's a lot of cliches and lottery around, is the playoffs a lottery? You need momentum and you need to be defensively solid. We will not get through the playoffs if we think we're going to outscore everybody. So if we get into the playoffs, we need to go in with momentum. My only hope is we get Burnley. I think we could beat Burnley in over 2 legs, because they're the only team that we've competed with in both games Sunderland have beat us twice. Sheffield United have beat us once and just looked streets clear of us the other week compared to when they come to Riverside. Like 2 different teams. And Leeds won't even be there, so it's pointless even discussing Leeds. They'll get top 2. And if they did fall into the playoffs, no way, no thank you. So Burnley would be my hope. I'd love them to finish 3rd and we sneak in 6th or something. I do think we could do Burnley because they're not great going forward. We just need to find one of them moments that we can create from nothing, where we score a goal and hopefully hang on. I think we could do Burnley. But then you've got the playoff final. And that's when you can't avoid either Sunderland or a Sheffield United. And unless the team in 5th or 6th beats 3rd or 4th in the semi, which I can't see, that would be something. But then it's Boro at Wembley, innit? Playoff final. Doesn't bear thinking about. And one thing I will say as well, we keep willing Boro to get promoted. And don't get me wrong, I'd love us to get promoted, absolutely. But if we got promoted, we'd get utterly destroyed in the Premier League. If we went up like this. If we went up with Carrick at the minute, we would get annihilated. He would need to completely rewrite his philosophy and his tactical setup. Because I've seen Russell Martin try and go up in the Prem, playing the way Southampton team did. Disastrous. Company tried to take Burnley up, playing the same way, that got them running away with the championship. That didn't work out well. Leeds have went up, eventually come back down. And you look at the table now, all 3 promoted teams are in the bottom 3. So part of me thinks, are we even ready to go up? Obviously, I'd love it because the financial reward you get from going up is ridiculous. And I think that could help us build again, even if we got relegated. But it wouldn't be pretty if we went up at the minute. Carrick would have to, as I say, rip up and just rethink his philosophy. We can't go up playing the way we are because we'll get just ripped open week after week. Josh, I watched our game versus Sunderland. It was on ITV. Yeah, I know. They put it on ITV and Sky for everyone to see. You started really well, but as soon as you scored, it felt like you dropped off and allowed Sunderland back into the game. Yeah, that's exactly what we did, mate. That's what happens at the Riverside. We've threw away so many points and lost so many games at home. The atmosphere at home is so nervous. So if we ever lead a game, instantly your first thought is, oh my God, how are we going to hang on? How are we going to throw this away? How are we going to screw this up? And, I mean, we led Cardiff. We were beating Cardiff a few weeks ago. We still managed to draw that game. It's just, at the Riverside at the minute, it is just not good enough. We don't have the steeliness and the game management to manage a game and see a game out against anyone. So yeah, as soon as we went ahead, we were, we sit back, it gets nervy and it's a matter of time. But either way, that game should have been a draw. I think we deserved to draw that game. They were the better team second half. I thought we were the better team first half. But in typical Boro fashion, we find a way to lose the game. And the funny thing was, on the Boro Breakdown podcast the week before, I was on with Dana and Johnny, and we were laughing about, or we were making jokes of the Preston goal we conceded, that infamous goal at Preston. And Johnny actually said, the only way we can top this is if we literally walked it into our own net. What did we do the week later? We literally passed it into the back of our own net to lose the Teeswear derby. I mean, anyone else other than Boro, mental. Steve Wright, I'd be interested to hear your opinions on fellow supporters. I think he's asking for a bit of a discussion. Yeah, feel free to discuss Carrick in the chat. You know what? I don't think there's enough people in there to actually put a poll out at the minute. But what I will quickly show you guys, if I can, I put a poll out on my X Twitter page. If no one follows me on X, there'll probably be a link in the description of the live stream. But I put a poll out asking Boro fans if they thought Michael Carrick basically getting backed and getting kept on will work out, or if it will either delay his sacking, or if they think this will enable him to turn it around. And look at that. So 237 votes in just under 2 days. And it's basically 2/3 think it won't make a difference. It will delay the inevitable sack, whether that's in 2 days' time or 2 games' time, or whether it's at the end of the season. 37% think he'll turn it around. That's interesting. I don't know what you guys think in the comments, but basically it's split 2/3 to 1/3. People think he won't turn it around. The majority think it's just delaying the inevitable, and I am inclined to agree. At the minute, I don't think he'll turn it around. I hope anyway, because the fans have, he's gonna have to win 4 in a row or something mad to get fans back on side. Because even the problem with Boro this season, right, is we've won back-to-back games so rarely. Even when we win a game, you can't get excited because you just don't have faith we'll back it up with another win. So even wins don't feel enjoyable. So we might have to see, like, something this team's not done before, a 4-game winning streak or something. And that probably would be enough to maybe get fans on side again. But, yeah, for me, I just can't see it. There's no evidence to suggest it's going to happen. So I agree with that that poll. And I hope the club have gave him the next few games. If they don't think things are going to work, I think Kieran Scott will be using this time to scout potential replacements, because the rumours Steve Cooper was linked and rumours that he wasn't ready to come back and this and that. I guess that could be a reason why we never changed, because there was no one ready. So Kieran Scott might be looking for an alternative replacement to come in either in now or in the summer. But we can't leave it any later than post-Stoke, because then there's like 10 games to go and it's pointless at that stage. So I think a decision needs to be made after the next 2. That's why the next 2 games are absolutely huge. King Eli says, just because I'm going to Stoke, one of my first away day, and given your record, I just accept we would lose. Hey, we won the last game. The last game I went to away from home, we actually won. So the curse has been flipped, mate. Maybe I should have kept going to away games, because since I went to Hull on New Year's Day and we broke the curse and we saw Boro win, we've lost every away game since. So maybe we need to reverse the curse and I need to start going to every away game, and maybe we'll start winning again like we did at Hull. But at the minute, mate, go to as many away games as you like. And just fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, maybe me not going is the reason we're losing now, instead of the other way around. That could be true. Steve Pearce replies to Steve Wright, I follow Steve. I love that. Steve's ganging up together. I know people are crying for change, but look at it from the other side. What manager wants to manage a side that sell players willy-nilly? It's a good point. Selling Lath in January. Proven to be a decision that's not worked for the club. M. Thompson, took me a while to be Carrick out, even if he wins the next 2. Not going to change my mind. Interesting. So, not even 2 wins. Well, I think that would do enough for the board. But yeah, that's what I mean. Some fans have just checked out. They've given up. They've lost faith completely. And if you don't win them around, you're going to have either a divided fan base or a toxic fan base. So a change in that sense feels inevitable. That's why, as I said in that poll, 67% of people don't think that keeping them on will make a difference. Steve Pearce, I'll add, there's been a surprising amount of positivity online after Stevie G backed MC. Get behind him, get behind the team. How much of that is keep the faith versus this is us now? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, when I saw the news drop, my sort of instant response was, right, you may as well back him and get behind him. And as I say, just be in blind hope that we'll just somehow turn it around, despite there being no evidence to suggest that we will. But yeah, there's no point standing there and just booing the life out of him and the players, because it's not going to help anybody. The decision's been made. Everyone's got to step up now. The players have got to step up. Let's not pretend the players aren't to blame in this scenario. They've got to do so much better. Carrick, the coaching team, have to step up. The fans have to too. They have to be there to back the team. So it's a collective effort one way or the other, but they do need to give the fans reason to, have faith in the team still. And right now that faith is very, very thin. Also agrees on the playoff assessment. Look at Blackpool, Luton in previous years. Yeah, 100%, mate. You're spot on. Momentum is key. I mean, look at the last time we went in. We were flying, weren't we? And I don't remember. Was it a defeat to? Was it West Brom or Huddersfield we lost to? And then we dropped from 3rd to 4th, and we went into the playoffs with absolutely no momentum at all. And it was no surprise. I still thought we'd get to the final. I mean, how we didn't beat Coventry, I'll never know. It's the only team out of the last 6 to have home advantage in the second leg and lose. Every other team has had home advantage in the second leg, got the final. Boro, the only team who didn't. Typical Boro. But we went in with no momentum, none whatsoever, and that was definitely a contributing factor. Sunderland game should have been after Watershed. Yeah, especially with what Isidore did after full time. That infuriated me for days. Davide Fratesi. What a great name. Love your vids, Matt. I'd love to get your opinion on who you think now is going to be an out-and-out goal scorer for us now. I know Tommy has got a good goals per 90, but I think he only plays well with Doak. Interesting. Yeah, Doak's a big miss regardless. We're missing him so much. He gave us just width. He gave us out-and-out width, and it was like an old-fashioned winger who would take his full-back on, round the outside, and put great balls into the box. Even at his worst, he was still so effective, and he'd still give their left-back something to worry about. With Whittaker, he comes inside all the time, and I don't like inverted wingers. Not on both sides, because you're just bringing players central. And Azaz is already there, so you're getting like 4 players coming into each other's spaces, whereas you want to stretch teams. So yeah, we missed up massively. But on Tommy Conway, I think if he stays fit, I trust him to be our number 9. But it's keeping him fit. Iheanacho, I don't blame him. But we've basically signed a player who is completely different profile to Lati Lath. He will not do any of the same stuff Lath's doing. He's not going to press. He's not got the pace. He's a link-up player for me. He doesn't harass the centre-backs like Lath did. And he just looks so unfit. We're trying to play players who have just come in and not even giving them a chance to hit the ground running. We're expecting them to just do it. Putting a lot of faith in these players to come in and just bang, hit the ground running straight away. And they're not going to do that anyway, but Iheanacho's definitely not going to do it because he's not fit. That's such a big problem. Recruitment, January is a topic within itself. But, it's Tommy Conway, innit? We've got to rely on Tommy Conway. And he's got to stay fit. Steve asks if Doak will be fit for Friday. I don't believe so, mate. I think 4 to 6 weeks was what was... I think mentioned on Doak, and we're only a week in, so he's probably going to be out for another month. I think it was looking like mid-March, so yeah, we're still going to be without Doak for a while, which is sucks. 67% Steve Wright, inevitable sacking. That was on X to 230 odd people, so a decent amount, I would say. Halfway there, no problem, Olivia. Steve Wright, Hull City? Just laughing at Hull City's name, fair enough. Tyler, thank you for jumping in, buddy. Do you think MC will go in the summit if we don't get playoffs? I don't know if he will, but I think he should. Yeah. If we don't make playoffs, it is a big, fat, giant failure. There's no sugarcoating it. If he doesn't make playoffs, with the team we've got, there's no excuses. That paired with the fact we are in such a weak league, we should be comfortably in the top 6. So I'd like to think, especially with the run we've just had, as I say, Kieran Scott's looking at options currently to either come in and he's scouting a manager to either come in soon or in the summer. But if we don't get playoffs, I think the cycle's done. I think, he's had 2.5 seasons. You look at it, there's still things from a year, 18 months ago that haven't improved. So home form, still poor. Defensively, still poor. We need to see evidence in the last 14 games from Michael Carrick that he can start solving some of these problems, because they've not been solved in 12 months. So I think there's no reason to keep him at the minute. The only thing I don't want to say the only thing he's good at, because that sounds harsh, but one thing he's really good at is improving players. So he kind of fits the recruitment model that we're going for. He's a very good coach on the grass, I find, Michael Carrick. But a manager on the touchline, I don't think he'll get us winning enough. And you look at potentially what the league might look like next year, it looks terrifying. So I think we should move on if he doesn't get playoffs. If we do get playoffs and we have a good playoff campaign, I think they'll keep him. Although even then, I guess that would be fine. Boro are a top 6 team. We're not a top 2 team. Our only hope is playoffs, I think, getting back to the Premier League. So yeah, if he made playoffs, I'd be happy with that. If not, I think the decision needs to be made. That's what he should be judged on. If he's even here by then, he might not be. He might be gone in a week or two. This time next week, actually, following Stoke. He could be gone by this time next week, if things don't go well. Josh, I know you've been pretty inconsistent this season, but from what I've seen following your videos, you've been unlucky in the goals you have conceded. Yeah, I mean, unlucky, maybe straight up dumb and stupid. Probably that as well. Yeah, the amount of goals we've let in has been, some of them have been freakish. When you just go back, you could go through all of them, the Watford goal was a silly set-piece goal. Sheffield United, all the goals were avoidable. A mix-up between Giles and Travers for the first. Our defence was just wide open for the second, with Brereton Diaz running straight through. The third, another error from the goalkeeper. You go back before Sunderland, again, errors on goals. Preston before that, the second goal they scored to win the game, like something out of a comedy. And you just keep going back. You go back to the Plymouth game. We conceded the same goal 3 times. So although I think we've been unlucky, maybe we've not helped ourselves at all. We just keep giving the opposition too many chances to score goals against us, and we're basically making it so we have to score 2 or 3 to win every game, which is just not sustainable. King Eli, thing is, I want to go to Sheffield Wednesday, but given the fact that your missus wants to go, I might rethink. As I say, King Eli, listen, if we go to Sheffield Wednesday, we will win. We'll win. Honestly, we will. The last away game I went to, we won. Since then, we've lost. Let's flip this psychology. Let's reverse it. If we go to Sheffield Wednesday, you go to Sheffield Wednesday, and we'll win. We've gone to pot after Danks left for Munich. You see, that's an interesting one, that, Steve, because there's a lot of talk about the coaching team, and I don't buy all of it. I think the thing with Danks is, unless we know exactly what he did or didn't do, it's hard to say. He's certainly a loss, a huge loss, but we still started the season really badly anyway. We've still, with him here this time last season, we still started the season absolutely terribly when Danks was here. You could then say, well, we then won 6 in a row when Danks was here, but then we had that huge drop-off in the new year, as we always do, when Danks was here. So you could use the Danks argument both ways. It's the same with Woodgate. Woodgate's getting so much crap because our defence is poor. But honestly, Jonathan Woodgate is only going to be doing what Carrick's asking him to do. People are saying Woodgate out, get rid of Woodgate. It's not going to matter. It doesn't matter who we change in the backroom team, because they're all doing what Carrick wants them to do. None of them are overruling him and deciding, Woodgate's not going to go, Carrick's, we're defending terrible. I'm going I'm going to try and do my own thing, and he's the reason why we keep letting in goals. The players have to take huge responsibility. I mean, some of the individual errors they're making, they are, they're just so crazy. Carrick, no one can legislate for that. The players have to do better. But yeah, this argument that the coaching staff needs to change, I don't think it'll change anything. What I think, if he had a number 2 alongside him, who was a bit more experienced, that would help. But then again, would Carrick listen? Because he seems so stubborn and stuck in his ways. It's all good saying give Carrick a number 2, but would he actually listen? Would he actually listen to a number 2? Or would he be like, no, I'm the head coach, I don't care what anyone says, I'm doing it my own way? Because that's the way I think Carrick is. So yeah, the coaching team's an interesting debate. I think until we know exactly who does what, it's hard to say. But Woodgate, for example, he's only going to be setting the defence up in the way Carrick wants him to. So it comes down to the head coach, no matter which way you look at it, in my opinion. UTB 1986, great name. If we went up, Steve would give Carrick 30 mil. That's the problem. Yeah, that's another big thing. The difference in finance is mental. Newly promoted sides are spending 100 mil plus now, and they're still not getting any joy staying up. I mean, you going up now, you need to buy a striker that might cost you 30 million. Couple of midfielders, maybe another 30, 40 million. Couple of defenders, same again. You're asking for 100. And that's the thing. Johnny always says this to me when we're at the game and we're discussing Steve Gibson. He's a millionaire in a billionaire's game now. And it's true. We'd have to nail our recruitment. Absolutely nail it if we got promoted. We'd have to... We couldn't have a miss. We'd have to get hit on everything that we signed, because... yeah, you've got to be so clever with your money, and you've got to spend. You've got to spend to give yourself a chance. The gap is just so big now. I was saying this the other day to the guys in the breakdown, actually. I don't know if you guys agree, but I would be happy, as much as I would love to see Boro back in Europe and, cup finals like we were 20 plus years ago. I just can't see that happening ever again because of how much the game has grown and how rich the teams are at the top now. I know some might say, well, why can't we do a Brighton or a Brentford or a Forest? But I would honestly be happy for now just being a team that gets up every few years. If we have one season in the Prem every 3 or 4 years, I'd be happy. I'd be happy being a Sheffield United or a Burnley right now. You get the odd season in the big time, you get loads of financial money, you get loads of rewards, ton of money from it, helps the club, run and be sustainable. And then you go down, okay. But then when you go down, you're going to be the favourite to go up, and you're probably going to win an absolute ton of games, have a great time, win every week, and maybe go back up again. Whereas in the Prem, you're just going to get battered every week and probably get relegated. So... that's the gap. It's crazy. I'd love to know what our mindset would be if we went up. I'd love to know what Steve Gibson would do. Would he just throw money at it and just hope for the best? Would he try and be clever, or would he look at it and go, right, if we come back down, don't worry, we can use the money to reinvest and go up again? Is it going to be like a 4-year plan? Okay, we go up, come back down, fine, go up again. We don't sack the manager, we keep the manager. If we come down, don't panic, we go back up again. With the parachute payments, that's probably a smart strategy, to be honest. If we went up, come down, no one panic. Yeah, people would be upset. Don't panic. Use the parachute money. Go back up again. And maybe you have to go up twice now to properly solidify yourself. I don't know. Or we might just be a Burnley and a Sheffield United and just yo-yo forever. Josh says, such a shame Doak got injured. I was really looking forward to seeing him play and test himself. Again, senior players, I'm glad he did well when he did play. I hope he gets a PL loan next season. Yeah, I'm gutted as well because he was smashing it for us. And, he was getting Premier League interest in January. That tells you all you need to know about Ben Doak and how good he was. We know there's not a cat and house chance we'll keep him. And I just hope he comes back before the end of the season and we can at least see a bit more of him. And maybe we can see him in a playoff campaign Because he's probably the sort of player who, in a moment, could actually turn a playoff game for you. You know, either on a counter-attack or beating a man. He could create something out of nothing to win you a playoff game. So I think getting him fit for the end of the season is huge regardless. But he'll move on next season. And yeah, if Salah stays at Liverpool, I think he probably will get a Premier League loan. And I think there'll be a line of Premier League clubs who'll want him. He won't have any trouble getting a move in the Prem. And we'll be looking on thinking there's another player that we had who's gone on to bigger and better things and is now smashing it in the league above. There's so many players who've used Boro as a stepping stone to do better things. But that's the way football is. That's where we are as a club, unfortunately. And Doak will be another one. But Bob Young, thanks for jumping in, Bob. Can't believe what's happened to you guys. You looked surefire promotion prospects when you demolished us 3-0 at Ellen Road. I wish we put I know we put out a weakened team, but even so, wish you all the best. Yeah, cheers, Bob. I was saying earlier in the live stream, actually, we put out a weaker team that night as well. And I was saying at the start of the live stream, yeah, I thought we were cementing ourselves as promotion candidates that night. But the problem is, Bob, I think we are trying to play similar to Leeds. That high intensity attacking football, high intensity, but we don't have the players to play it like Leeds. If Carrick had a squad as good as Leeds, I think we'd be up there with you guys, because they've got defenders who don't make mistakes, they protect the goalkeeper, and they've got attackers who are relentless. And Leeds they are relentless. They just keep going over and over, like they did against Sunderland. They just kept going. They won the game in the last minute. Boro don't have them characters. We don't play at that intensity. We don't do it enough. So, yeah, 2 hit and miss. And I think with the money in the squad we have, Carrick will just never get this team to play the way he wants consistently. He's got to change it. He's got to accept that the way he wants us to play, there's a time and a place for it, but he can't do it every week because it's just not going to get us results consistently enough. But yeah, none of us can believe where we've ended up either. Davide, thanks for complimenting my name. Well, it's an awesome name. I don't mind it either. Me and my granddad were talking about our disability after when we got a goal. We normally don't press on for a second, and I think it's cost us hugely. Yeah, I agree with you. Again, Davide, we either have to shut up shop for 10 minutes, 15 minutes after we've scored, and then wait for the right time to go again. It depends, you know. Like West Brom, for example, when we beat West Brom, we scored first. They then had a absolutely 20, 30 minute spell of non-stop pressure, as you'd expect a team to do, but we held firm. We sat so deep in that game as well against West Brom. We were in a low block. You never ever see Carrick's Boro in a low block. We sat so deep in that second half against West Brom and said, right, come on then. We've got a lead. We'll hang on to it. And we never looked like conceding. And then when their spell passed, bang, we go up the other end and we score a second and win the game. That I don't mind that at all. But then, yeah, the problem with Boro, especially in that Sunderland game, I remember saying to Johnny and Liv at the time during the game, we just kept putting ourselves under pressure. We'd gone 1-0 up, but we kept putting ourselves under pressure because we kept trying to play out. And I just kept saying, just keep booting it along. For 10 minutes, just get rid. Do not give them a sniff. Do not give them a sniff. Do not give them any encouragement. But we kept, like Edmondson kept giving it back to them. And I'm like, you're just inviting Sunderland back onto you. You're giving them a reason to get the tails up and get back into the game. And eventually they did. And it was an unlucky goal, I guess, because Edmondson chested it past Travers. And the ball was going straight to him. But like in them periods, I just wish we'd just go, right, just clear your lines. Do not put us under any pressure. Wait for their spell to pass, because it will. And then we go and kill the game off afterwards. But we either try and go for the throat and leave ourselves open and just concede goals anyway, or we put ourselves under so much unnecessary pressure, we concede anyway. It's game management, isn't it? It's all about game management, and that's another thing Carrick hasn't quite nailed yet and needs to improve again. Talking of Edmondson, Steve Wright says, let's hope Edmundo plays a blinder on Friday. I hope he doesn't play at all. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Yeah, I don't rate George Edmondson at all. And if Dale Fry's fit, Dale Fry has to play. Granted, he was ill at the weekend, so that's why he didn't play. But why he played Edmondson against Sheffield United, I'll never know. I mean, why he played him earlier in the season ahead of Clark and co, I'll never know. Carrick just loves George Edmondson. I don't know why. He was playing ahead of all of our permanent defenders when he was on loan. That's why Clark's buggered off. Yeah, for God, just play Fry and Rav. I want him to play a consistent defence, but I worry that consistent defence is going to be Edmondson alongside Rav. When Dale Fry, I think, is just a better defender. And a bit better with his feet as well. So get Fry back in the team and keep him there. Josh said, I feel the gap between the PL and the Championship is getting bigger each season. I agree, 100%. It's so much harder to stay up now. You need a PL quality team to have any chance. Yeah, you've nailed it, mate. It's bonkers. And I do wonder how long potentially before they look at that, whether it's the EFL or the Premier League, or they put the Reds together and they go, hang on a minute, this isn't actually working for the good of the sport. You know, the English pyramid is known for, you know, promotion, relegation. It's known for giving teams a chance, I guess. And I do wonder how long it'll be before they look at it and say, yeah, this is just not sustainable. This isn't doing anyone any good. You know, the money that the parachute teams get is too big, and the gap's too huge. Because if the same three keep coming up and going down again, and it takes the fun out of getting promoted in the first place, and it's then making it tougher for the Championship teams to compete with the teams coming down. So, yeah, it can't get any bigger. Otherwise, they might have to start having some conversations about it, I think. Tyler follows that up. Don't think fans realise how big the rebuild is in the summer, whether we go up or not. You are correct. I was going to do a video on that, actually. I was thinking about maybe leaving it until the end of the season. But, yeah, God, we're going to have to rebuild everywhere. You know, we need from top to bottom, we need a new goalkeeper. Because Dieng's not good enough. Glover's not good enough. Bryn, maybe. We're going to have Luke Ayling as our only right back, which is we're seeing now is proof that just won't work, because Dijksteel will leave. He's out of contract. Don't think he'll sign on, and Smith's just retired. So the goalkeeper and right back. You're going to need two centre backs because we're one short as it is, and Rav will probably leave, and I don't trust having Edmondson. So you're probably going to need two centre halves. So there's 4 players already. The left back. Is Giles already here? Do we need it? Giles has not started well at all. He really isn't covering himself in glory. So I don't know if we'll just bring back Engel, let Giles go back to Hull, and sign another left back, because I don't think Carrick rakes Engel either. So you may be looking at 5 signings just in defence. Midfield, Hackney's probably going to leave. Barlas is not good enough. Howson probably won't get a contract need. He'll probably retire. So what's that? 7 or 8 players. That's midfield and defence. And then up front in attack, McGree, what's happening there? He's always injured. Duck's going to leave. Ayling Jr. is probably going to leave. So all the loans will go. You probably need an attacker or 2. And then we need a striker as well, because Iheanacho's not good enough. So that's mental, isn't it? 10, 11, 12 players. And you're right, that's if we go up or not. And the idea around squad building and what the best teams have done in the Championship who've got promoted is they keep like a solid core and they build and they get better. And yeah, they sell, but they buy, and they sell, but they buy at Brentford and Brighton and all that. But we, no matter how much, business we do, every summer, it feels like we have to sign 10 players. An overhaul, rebuild, version 6, 7.0. It's, yeah, the rebuild in the summer is going to be huge, regardless, and that's a worry. No matter which way you look at it, because you want to just build that squad. I mean, which players can we build this current squad around? Morris, Conway, Bergsorg maybe, because every other bugger's leaving or isn't good enough. So yeah, the summer window fills me with a bit of dread. I mean, if we go up, great. You can just go, let's spend money and see who we get in. But yeah, even if we stay in the Championship, we've got a proper job on. Jeff Bennett, thanks for jumping on. Jeff asks, do you think if we don't go up this season, we can go up next season? I look at next season and I look at the league, and I know we say this every year. The league looks easier, it looks harder, it looks, you don't know until you're in it, but next season looks horrid. It looks horrible because, as I say, at the minute, Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton are all going to come back down. Ipswich, if they keep McKenna, and their squad is Championship ready to just rip it up. I know I said that about Luton, and that's not exactly gone well. But Ipswich, I think, if they keep McKenna, will be favourites. Leicester just will be because they're too big of a club to not be. Southampton, it might depend on their new manager and what they do. I think they are probably the only one of the three who will be a little bit up in the air. But again, they'll have parachute payments to have the players anyway, no matter which manager comes in. You're then looking at one of Sunderland or Sheffield United or Burnley, who won't go up. So they're going to be big favourites. Coventry, if they keep going, are probably going to be massive playoff favourites. West Brom will be in there, no doubt. You're looking at Norwich, second season under Hostorup. They'll probably get better. Danny Roll, if he's still at Sheffield Wednesday, will probably keep getting better. I mean, and that's not even considering Birmingham and Wrexham, who might come up. And I mean, Birmingham are just ripping League One up. They've already got a squad that's probably Championship ready. So we might be getting two of the toughest newly promoted sides as well, who I wouldn't be surprised if they just kept the momentum carried through and were in the playoffs as well. So where do Boro fit in there? I think next season would be so difficult. And that's why I feel like this season's a huge opportunity. And with how weak the league is, a huge opportunity we are pissing away right now, massively. Josh says, I'm hoping Doak gets a PL loan. I don't like the idea of selling him. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thought that when he was getting linked with permanent moves elsewhere, I didn't understand for a second why Liverpool were going to sell him in the summer. I really don't. I honestly do not see the value in selling Ben Doak. If he has even 6 good months with Liverpool in the Prem or another club, his valuation will double, treble, and he'll go from they valued him at £30 million player already, probably up to like 50, 60 million if he has a good first year in the Prem with anyone. So yeah, Liverpool have got to keep him on the books, and then they could make a fortune off him, or he'll follow Salah in that position when Salah leaves. Jack asks, hi Matt, how do we get out of this culture of always giving points to teams at the bottom? I remember when I was a kid seeing Boro drop points to bad teams. Mate, we've done it for as long as I remember. I cannot explain it. We've always been the same. I remember when I was growing up and we were playing in the mid to late 2000s in the Premier League. I think one season we were struggling near the bottom and we beat the league leaders Chelsea 3-0. We did Arsenal twice in the League Cup. We beat United 4-1. I mean, I don't understand. I've never got it. It's the most Boro thing ever. Doesn't matter who the manager is, who the personnel are. We've always been the same. We beat the good teams and we throw points away against the teams at the bottom. And I don't know how you do it, because it's been there for donkey's years. It doesn't matter who the team is or the manager. It just is Boro. It's what we do. So maybe we're just going to have to rely on beating as many good teams as we can and not losing to as many crap teams. I don't know. But it's just the Boro way, isn't it? I've never quite understood it. Josh asks, is poor game management part of the tactics or just mentality from the players? I think a bit of both, to be honest, mate. I think the game management's definitely a big thing that Carrick needs to be better at. We've talked about how late he makes subs in games, how the opposition is often more proactive than what he is. I mean, I always think back to that Plymouth game where we got back into it 3 times, but we kept conceding the same goal over and over again. Not once did we ever stop to think and change the system to stop their wingers having as much joy as they were. So I think that, as well as just knowing when to shut up shop, knowing when to stop attacking, whether to slow the game down. It's incredibly rare Carrick sticks an extra centre back on to sheer up a game. Little things like that worked. I think we did it against Millwall at home, actually, when we won 1-0. He stuck a defender on. He stuck, maybe, was it Matt Clark he brought on? And we went to a back 5. We had 3 centre-halves, and we held on and won 1-0. But he doesn't do that all the time. He doesn't do that enough. So it's like it's in there. He's not completely against it, but we don't do it enough. So there's that. But then the mentality from the players is just shocking. The players seem so weak, and whenever the game is like made into a scrap or a fight, they just can't cope. Portsmouth was as an example of that. I mean, I didn't see the Portsmouth game because I was away, but from what I heard, they made it an absolute scrap second half, and we just didn't know what to do because we don't have players in there who can fight and scrap and get down in the trenches with the opposition and really grind it out. We seem to just lose out in them battles when games get scrappy. So a mix of both, mate, to be honest with you. There's a long list of things that need to be improved with this Boro team, and that's what I mean with this current coach, mentality, setup. I think it all comes from the top, and that's why I'm sceptical that anything will change as it stands. Davide, I still believe that Bangura, when fit, is a good championship left back. I think if we went up, in brackets, I know it'd take a miracle. It would. But I think he could sustain himself if fit. I'm not just saying that because he's meant in my career. Yeah, he was good in mine as well. Yeah, Bangura, we can't forget about him. Very unlucky to get the injury he did. I do agree. I think he's probably one of the few left backs at the club who could do a job going forwards and backwards. I think he's probably got enough defensively and going forwards. He's pacey. The way he runs is hilarious as well when he sprints. But I really like Bangura, and I hope he recovers from this injury, because serious injuries like that can take their toll on players. Even after they've recovered, it takes them a while to get back to that full strength level. So although that probably won't be till the start of next season, he was really unlucky how he got injured. Apparently he was just warming up on the touchline and he just his Achilles, I think, was just snapped or something. So I don't know if he'll be able to still have the pace that he did before. These injuries can affect you mentally. Will he have it in the back of his mind that if he sprints, he might snap his Achilles again or something? So there's quite a lot that I think will go into whether Bangura comes back the same player or not. But if he can, that's a good shout. I think if we lose Giles, who at the minute isn't exactly giving himself a chance of staying on. I remember when he first signed, I thought a loan deal was a bad decision, but now I've flipped completely. I think the club have done a good thing loaning him, because it's protected us completely. Because if he keeps playing like this, we're best giving him back to Hull. So yeah, I'm glad Boro haven't committed any money towards Giles as it stands. I think maybe the club weren't even that convinced when we signed him that he could be good enough, because it was Carrick who wanted Giles. He wanted him. He was pushing for him to come back. He has been for years now. So I think the club probably weren't that asked about bringing back Giles, but Carrick wanted him. Carrick's got him. And I think the club have protected themselves with it being a loan, so that if it goes wrong, or if Carrick leaves, we don't have to keep Giles. He's not our player. So yeah, Bangura. Hopefully he can step in. Josh says exactly what I think about Doak. If we loan him, then we could either keep him and have him as an understudy for more, or sell him for more money. Yeah, spot on. Makes perfect sense, mate. You've got money on legs there with Ben Doak. The potential of that kid is a joke. And losing him and Lath have been... it's crippled us. I mean, I remember thinking during the January window, if we lost both of these, we'd be in trouble. But, I mean, we kind of have anyway. We've sold Lath and Doak's got injured, so... We've just got no pace up front. Our front line is so immobile now without them two, because they were both quick, both pacey, Doak would destroy his left back and Lath would be all over the centre backs. Whereas now we've got Whittaker who comes inside instead, and Iheanacho who has as much agility as a bloody bus. And again, that's not his fault, but he's unfit. He does not look fit at all. So yeah, talk about a bit of a downgrade from Boro's point of view. Jack asks, I think this season is the first where I've questioned the recruitment. It's went away from buy low, sell high. Edmondson, Ayling, Neto don't seem to fit in, and Ayling, Edmondson, a mistake in my opinion. Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. I remember going into January thinking the only part of the club I trust 100% is the recruitment. But they've had a bit of a miss in January. Travers is the only one I think is a signing we've nailed completely. You know, Giles was wanted by the manager, so that's on Carrick for me. The recruitment team have delivered him a player he wanted. Same with George Edmondson. We could have quite easily left him at Ipswich. Kept Clark, or if he moved on, signed 2 centre-backs. Carrick clearly rates Edmondson massively for some reason. Plays him every week, so I think that's on Carrick as well. And then, right back, we've left ourselves very short. I don't know why we've not looked at that earlier. Ayling and Dijksteel are not good enough right backs. Although Dijksteel's doing well, Ayling isn't good enough. And then, the left back scenario has just been one we've not gotten right since Giles left. We just can't get a good left back. But as Davide mentioned, maybe Bangura is the answer to that. But yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think the recruitment team have had their first miss of the window. I think Ilin Jr. was an opportunistic Doak-like signing who we weren't planning to sign, but he was there, so we've took him, which is fine. But we're playing him in the wrong position. He's never played on the right in his life. He's always been on the left, and we're playing him on the right. Don't get it. And Iheanacho we've brought in, and he's not fit. So you say, okay, he's not fit. Don't start him. Bring him in gradually off the bench bit by bit until he's fresh and fit. Then you start him. The fact we're starting him from the get-go and he's so unfit baffles me. So the recruitment haven't helped, although Carrick has a part to play in some of the players that have come in as well, I would say. Daniel Banks, thanks for jumping in, mate. You think we can still get playoffs? And if so, do you think it is with Carrick? I was going to say ask me again in 2 games' time. I, at the minute, don't know. I don't think we'll get it with Carrick. As I say, I need to see something from him on the pitch now. He needs to take these quotes he keeps saying in press conferences and he needs to convert that to results on the pitch. I've not seen enough consistently, mate, over the course of the season to suggest we're going to get top 6. As I said a few weeks back, our projected points finish has us falling short. That's proving to be the case. The fact we're still seeing the same errors over and over again, a team that can't defend, a team that's not getting better defensively, the fact we are having so many individual errors, back-to-back wins only twice this season. You know, there's no signs to suggest that at the minute we'll get playoffs and it'll be with Carrick. So I don't, just because there's no proof to suggest we will. If we lose the next 2 and change manager, and we're fortunate we're still within touching distance, then yeah, maybe with someone else, they might scrape us in. But at the same time, these next 2 games are so pivotal, mate, because as I say, if you can just get a result against Bristol City, you know, and we remain within 4 points, or likely we probably gain a few because there's no chance every team around us will win at the weekend. If we can get a miracle win at Bristol City and get within 2 points of the top 6, we've got a game in hand next week. A free hit, a golden ticket, a free game that no one else has to get back into the top 6. So this time next week, we might either be in the top 6 again, having, you know, had 2 good results, in the top 6, and it changes. And then everyone's going, right, the season starts now. Carrick's turned it around. He's got us playing again. Will I still have faith? Probably not even then, because we'll throw in a stupid defeat at some point. But what I'm saying is this time next week, we might find ourselves back in the top 6. which is crazy. And this doomsday scenario might seem completely different. Or we might lose the next 2 and have a new manager next week and be 12th and be 6 or 7 points off the playoffs. That's why this next week, mate, is absolutely huge. But as it stands, no, I don't. Ask me again next week. We'll see. Davide asks... Oh, sorry, I've skipped Tyler's comment there. Sorry, Tyler. Will McCabe ever play for us consistently? I think he will, mate. Yeah, I like McCabe. I like the look of him. I think if you're looking at Football Manager, he looks like a Hackney regen. He does. He looks like a Hayden Hackney regen in every way. So next season, quite honestly, when Hackney leaves, because he will, I think, I'd rather McCabe step in rather than Barlasser, because Barlasser does not fit our style. It's not that he's a bad player or anything. He's just not suited to our midfield. If he played somewhere else in a lower league team, in a midfield 3, where he's got more players around him, he's got more time on the ball, Barlasser would be brilliant, but not for us. McCabe, though, I think is very much like Hayden Hackney. And he's being coached through the 23s to play in the same way that Hackney does. So I think he could be the next Hayden Hackney. He could step into that role. I do believe that. And Hackney didn't get loaned out, or did he? But he came straight in from the under-23s under Leo, didn't he? And he's never looked back. So, Davide, one thing I talked about at Sunderland was how we lack a real leader in the team, like a fist shaker who, when we're struggling, can pick us up off the floor. Possibly could have been a defender in Jan. Yeah, that's another big debate. Again, it comes down to the mentality of the team. I mean, there are some really good Championship players in that team who've got a lot of experience. You know, Luke Ayling has been a part of a promotion-winning Leeds United team. You know, Matt Travers has played in the Premier League for Bournemouth. You know, there are players in there who you'd expect it from, but yeah, maybe it is a confidence mentality thing, but yeah, you do want to shake the team at times, don't you? And just shake them and just say, what are you bloody doing? So, yeah, I think one big thing we missed in January was another centre mid in the mould of Morris, or maybe someone who is just a hitter. You know, a centre mid who is not going to do anything flash. They're just going to sit in front of the back 4, protect them, and win the ball back. Win it back, retain the possession, pass it to Hackney, let him do the rest. So yeah, that was something we definitely missed, mate. Joe SD, thanks for jumping on, bud. Will we extend Dykesteel's contract because he's out of contract in the summer? I don't think so, no, mate. I don't. I think when he come in, we were under Woodgate, and that was still when we were paying players a stupid amount of money, and the wage structure was completely all over the shop. Obviously, since then, we've completely, restructured the wage structure. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but Dykesteel, despite being a bit part player or a squad player, if that's fair, he's on quite a bit, I believe, Dykesteel. I think, you know, from what he's earning to how much he's playing, I think it doesn't suit what we're trying to do, I think. So that, on top of the fact that as great as he's been, I've loved the redemption arc of Anthony Dykesteel. I think he'll move on, yeah. But again, that gives us, we should be looking ahead and seeing that and thinking, right, Dykesteel's off in the summer, we need to sign a right back, and we've left ourselves with just Luke Ayling, with Tommy Smith retiring as well. So that's another area we've left ourselves completely short. Josh says your recruitment has been pretty good overall. I think you've got some good players with real potential, and you've made money off players like Rogers, Lath. Yeah, no, that's true, mate. I think up until January this year, we've done that. I think the only frustration with Boro fans is both them sales came in January, and I think for me, selling your best players in January is just a real risk. Do it in the summer, fine. And maybe the timing's just not quite fell with what we want to do. But yeah, in terms of the way we want to recruit and make money, they've done brilliantly. And that's what we need to keep doing to be sustainable. It allows us to splash the cash on a Morgan Whittaker or whatever. So for me, I agree. Great signings. The timing's not great. But I want them to keep doing what they're doing. I want them to keep, going forward with the strategy we're currently going with, because the club simply needs to survive. But selling them in January is not helping, I would say. Jack says, I'd keep Dijksteel over Ayling, then bring in a young right back, but unfortunately don't see that happening. I agree, mate. Yeah, I'd if I had the choice, I'd keep Dijksteel, but I don't think we'll keep either, for the reasons I've said about Dijksteel's apparent contract, what he's earning, and Luke Ayling, he's just past that point now of playing for a team that want to get into the top 6. Let me just have I thought that was a YouTube related comment. Davide says, feel like we've left no margin for error after dropping silly points, so games like Leeds are must wins. Nail on the head, mate. It's something that it's a great point that Chris made when he was on the channel, and I always refer back to it when we chat. He's spot on. There was games earlier in the season where we just, you think Derby away, Preston at home, Pompey at home. They're in the first 4, 5, 6 games. We didn't beat any of them. And you've got to bag these points so that when you go into these games against big teams, they're a free hit. And it was like when we went into the Leeds-Burnley games before the new year. They were games we felt like we had to win because of the points we dropped. And, we're just making life so much harder for ourselves. And the margin for error, well, it went a few weeks ago. It's beyond gone now. We need to start making that back up again. So you've smashed it, mate, there with no room for error. Hit the nail on the absolute head. Room for error's gone. It's our own fault. And now every game's a must-win. Bristol City away, must-win. That's not easy. Stoke away, must-win. Not easy, And I worry as well that we'll get to the end of the season, and a bit like last season, it'll be a case of we've got to win 7 of the last 8 to get in, or 5 of the last 6. We're going to leave ourselves in a position, to do that when we should be comfortably in there. It's so frustrating being a Boro fan, honestly. Steve Wright, Lenihan has been a huge loss. Possibly he could retire like Tommy Smith. Hopefully he'll come back stronger. Yeah, I agree, Steve, mate. Lenihan's a big miss. A really good signing, Lenihan. Got him for free from Blackburn. He was outstanding for them. It's just so frustrating that he's got the injuries. And, he's not the only one. The number of injuries Boro have had over the last couple of seasons has been a joke, to be honest. I do worry, like you, he might go down the same path as Tommy Smith. I think they're the same age, they might not be far off. But as I was saying with Bangura, he might get back to playing, but is he going to get back to that level? You don't know. So he's a huge loss, I agree. And when he played in pre-season and scored, I thought, great, what a boost. And then we've never seen him since. So that's, really frustrating. He's definitely a big miss. And again, we're so short at centre-back. We could really do with him. But I think he's been registered. Because did we have to re-register our squad at the end of January? And I think Dieng was not registered, but Bangura and Lenihan were. So there's hope, I think, they both might come back before the end of the season. How about a Lenihan bullet header in the playoff finally? That'd be good. Steve also agrees with the McCabe-Barlas debate. Spot on, mate. Jeff Bennett says, isn't Dijksteel the highest paid earner at the club? Yeah, that's what I heard, mate, as well. I don't know if he's the highest, but as I say, we signed him when we were, paying players a lot more money than what we are now. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's up there. And again, that's, we're going to have to give him a pay rise or keep him on the same money, and it just doesn't suit. Because if we want to buy a new right back, which we need to do, that new right back won't want to be on too much less than Dijksteel. I mean, I've just got my Football Manager head on here, but how that might work, I think his time has passed, Dijksteel. I think that's just naturally come to the end of its course, I would say. Joe SD says Johnny won't be here next season. Hackney might be sold. Barlasser doesn't fit. I fully expect McCabe to be involved. Yeah, we may as well, mate. We may as well give him a chance because, I was saying earlier in the stream, the turnover of players, the rebuild we're going to need in the summer is huge. So if we can, if we can, help plug them holes with a couple of young players who are good enough, absolutely. And you're right, Howson won't be re-signed because his injury record now is just sadly not good enough, and he's just not recovering from the injuries quickly enough anymore. Hackney, I think, will be sold. I think Boro will do what they always do. We'll sell him and use that money. And I think, to be fair, I don't know how much of the Lath money we've spent. So if we lose Hackney and Rav, which I think's realistic, Boro will have so much money to spend in the summer, you'd think. I think we're already like 30 million above the FFP threshold. So we've already got space and money in the bank to spend if we need to. If we sell Hackney for 20, Rav for 20, you've sold Lath for 22. I mean, we could see Boro absolutely throwing the cash around in the summer, but I definitely have McCabe, 100%. Davide, can't believe you got Man United tickets from Big Amp's dad. Yeah, that was a story, mate. I don't know if any people know that story. I don't know if you want me to tell it, but you know what? I can't find Anthony Dykesteel's dad's number in my WhatsApp anymore, which is, it's annoying. I don't know where his number's gone, but I've lost it. Yeah, I've lost his number, I think. But yeah, big Stephen Dykesteel, Ant's dad. Saw a tweet I put out about wanting United tickets. Next thing I know, he's DMing me on Twitter with his WhatsApp number. Me and Liv go to Manchester United, trusting that this guy's going to meet us outside the ground and give us tickets. And there we are, stood outside the away end at Old Trafford, who taps me on the shoulder. Dykesteel's dad hands over 2 tickets. And we were in the Man United away end with all the Dykesteel family. There were way too many of them, by the way. There was about 5 seats, and there's about 10 of them. So I don't know how they all got in. But yeah, we were in the away end for the United game with the Dykesteels. Seeing us win on penalties, what a night that was. That's a story. It really is. Daniel asks, realistically, how long's a piece of string, mate? How many seasons do you think until we get promoted, or do you think it will be another 5 to 10? Oh, mate. Yeah, how long is a piece of string? Could be anything, mate. I think if the gap keeps getting bigger, it could be 5 to 10, yeah. Because I can only see us going up via the playoffs. I really can't see us going up automatically. Ever. Now. But then again, Sunderland have nearly done it. I mean, they fell short now. I don't think they'll have enough in the end. So maybe it is impossible for a non-parachute team to hang with a parachute team for 46 games. But I mean, if Ipswich can do it, if Sunderland can nearly do it, they'll probably be favourites to the playoffs anyway. That's what Boro need to do. But it does worry me, I'll be honest, mate, that we've had Monk, Pulis, Warnock, Woodgate, Wilder, Carrick. Every possible different manager you could think of. Every different way of playing. Every different recruitment model. And we've still not got there. We've reached the playoffs twice since relegation. That's not good enough, man. That doesn't give me hope that we're ever going to get there, to be honest. So we need to strike the perfect balance. I think the recruitment's probably ready-made to go up. Maybe it's getting the right coach in. I don't know. But when we first got Kieran Scott in and I saw the way we were working and we obviously had the playoff season under Carrick, I honestly thought 2 to 3 years we'll be up. But we've only regressed season on season since that playoff season. So, mate, for me, that playoff season was the chance. I don't care what anyone says. We had Coventry, Luton, Sunderland. I don't think there'll ever be a playoff 4. No disrespect to them clubs. I don't think we'll ever have a better chance. than what we had that season. And we had the home advantage second leg, and we absolutely blew it. So maybe that was the chance. When will we ever get one like that again? Who knows? Or maybe in August, we'll be talking about Boro's upcoming Premier League season after Carrick turns things around and gets us promoted via the playoffs. Who knows? He also asks, Lenihan's only 29. Oh. Sorry, Lenihan, I thought you were older. I think if he's back in time, he will be the difference in the defence. Yeah, I hope so. I think so as well. I think having... You know what's a shame? He's never played alongside Rav, because I think the mix of Rav being a youngster, but a very talented youngster, and the experience of Lenihan, I think them two could have complemented each other really well. I think Lenihan alongside Rav could be... Well, it could still be, but I think Rav will be off in the summer. Them two could have been a perfect combination. And it's just frustrating that as soon as Rav come in, Lenihan got injured. And we've never ever seen it since. So, I think he'd be really good alongside Rav, but we might never see that now. Jack says, I don't want Carrick to go because it's frustrating. We seem to keep going through the same cycle of managers. We've tried all different types of managers and styles. Yeah, 100%, mate. That's what I was just alluding to. You're sort of in a position now as Boro fans where we're sort of looking at it and thinking, well, if we change it, what difference is it going to make? Because it's not made a difference before, has it? So why press the reset button for the 10th time and just go around in the same cycle? For once, should we stick and just hope and pray that something good comes of it eventually? But sadly, that's just not the way modern football works. Carrick is now the longest serving manager in the Championship, and he's only just been here just over 2.5 years. So yeah, it's just the way modern football is. So yeah, he needs to turn it around, I think. Otherwise, I think he will, sadly. Jeff says, yeah, but if we got comfortably in the playoffs, what is to say we didn't slip off again and play rubbish against Coventry? Yeah, it's trusting the Boro in them big moments, mate. And the thing that's always been in the back of my head all season, since top four went, and the top four are just so far clear of everyone else, it's a joke. The points gap is huge. It doesn't matter if we get in or not. We're going to have to go to Bramall Lane, Turf Moor, or the Stadium of Light in the second leg. And we are going to have to trust Boro to not only win at home and take something back to one of them really tough grounds, we have then got to trust Boro to hold on to them that lead in the second leg at a tough place to one of them top sides. And at the minute, can you honestly put your hand on your heart and say you would both trust Boro to win the first leg and then defend it in the second leg? No, I just can't see it. So even if we made playoffs, it's just, again, blind hope and faith that we would do what is required to get through them. Davide says, as I am as of right now an academy level referee at Rockcliffe. Awesome, mate. That's fantastic. So all the lads out on the pitches, and I think I saw Bangura with the lads. Well, I hope so, mate. I hope so. And I hope next time you're there, you give them a right rollicking and tell them to sort their shit out. Joe says, we will have a young squad next season like Sunderland do this year, and we will have a lot of money to spend in the summer. We have to be ruthless in the market if we want to go anywhere. Yep, I agree, mate. Sunderland are proof that a young squad can do it. I think they've struck lightning in a bottle, Sunderland. I can't quite believe what they've done this season. I think they've had a group of young players that have all come together at the same time and peaked at the same time. If they don't go up this year, I think they'll be in trouble because they'll have to sell. Well, they'll sell probably a few of their really good players, but they're recruiting really well, like we are. So, and they've got, I mean, how they've found Lebris, and he's just walked in. I don't know how they've done it. Because Lebris was like their 10th choice manager. They had so many of the managers they tried to get, and they just kept getting turned down for whatever reason. Lebris was their 10th choice, and look what he's done. There's us building a gradual, we're building a Carrick, trust the process. 2.5 years in, and then Lebris walks in there and just and they're light years ahead of us at this moment. It's crazy. So I'm hoping we could do something like that, but we need a good coach to do it as well. We need a good coach to develop them players and get them playing in the right way at the same time. Jeff says, we just put our feet up, mate. Yeah, we do. We just put our feet up, expect the opposition to roll over. And there you go. Davide, really enjoying the stream tonight. I'm glad, mate. Could be a monthly streak and you could drag Chris on? Really like both your thoughts on Boro. Yeah, I could drag Chris on. Yeah, possibly. I mean, we were thinking about, well, we're going to do the podcasts monthly anyway. But the start of March, which is when we were going to do the next one, falls around the same time he's away. He's going to Florida, I think. And then there's an international break straight after, so it's not worked out quite well in March. But yeah, I'll see if I can get Chris on. Would have to do it via StreamYard, which I'll probably try and do actually next time. So yeah, we'll see if we can do that. Steve says 3 points is an absolute must on Friday. Absolutely, mate. Anything less, then I don't think it matters what he does at Stoke, to be honest. And even that is a horrible looking game. How ironic would it be that Mark Robbins is the manager who finally puts the nail in Michael Carrick's coffin? Wouldn't it be typical? His ultimate nemesis is the one that ends it at Stoke. Yeah. King Eli says, I'm so conflicted with this. I'm like you, I don't want Carrick to go. I want it to work out, but I think he has to go, in all honesty. Yeah, I'm the same as you, mate. Completely conflicted. I don't think I've ever wanted a manager to succeed at Boro as much as I do Carrick. Lovely guy. And, has us playing the best football I've ever seen. But we don't play winning football. We can't just be a nice, fancy ball-playing team who win every other week or win every few weeks and get beat every other week. It's just... And we are regressing. Home form's still poor. Points per game's worse than last season. With a better team, with a better squad, by the way. We've got a better squad now. And we're performing worse than last season, which is crazy. So, yeah, I'm very conflicted. But I think it comes a point where football's ruthless and you just have to sadly draw a line. And Gibson has sacked managers for less. So I think he's like us. He's giving Carrick a bit more of a chance. I think they said in the journals on Monday when they announced that Gibson was backing Carrick, I think they said that Gibson really likes and respects his character and his leadership. So I think a big reason as to why he's still here is because of Carrick and his personality, because Wilder got sacked for less. And I think a few managers did as well. So it's buying him time, but I don't know how much time that is. Davide's going to give them a rollicking. Thanks, mate. Please do. And Steve Wright says Sunderland have got a team that are talented and guided by a savvy coach. That's the key, mate. You can have all the talent in the world, but you need a good coach behind it as well. They've gotten lucky, I think, with Lebris, but yeah, what he's done. You like to hope if we did make a change, maybe Lebris is evidence as to why Boro do need to make a change, because what's to say we wouldn't stumble across a coach that no one's heard of who takes Boro's team to the next level. So there's always that. If you don't change, you'll never know, I guess. Jeff's enjoyed the stream. I'm glad, mate. Up the Boro. Jack says, I wonder why we hired Woodgate again. And then to hire Ledbetter, it feels very much like Jobs for the Boys. Woodgate failed in 1920. Why go back? Yeah, Jobs for the Boys has been a quote I've seen banded around quite a bit. Gibson's always been funny with backroom staff. He's always had people on there that are related to the club or have worked for the club. It is odd, and maybe it has been at his detriment, because fans don't trust Woodgate at all. Like, fans, that's why he's getting so much stick because of our defence, because fans just don't trust Woodgate as a coach. And I get why, because his time in charge of us was a disaster. And yeah, Ledbetter coming back, I mean, it was a good feel appointment when he first joined, but yeah, you've got to start wondering if it is Jobs for the Boys. There's definitely something in that. I've seen people mention that quite a lot. I think Gibson will splash the cash in the summer, says Daniel, with our 150th anniversary coming up. He will want to be in the Premier League for that. Yeah, that's a good point, that, mate, What a time to do it as well. Our 150th anniversary. We'll have a swanky new logo, a swanky new kit, and maybe that will be a swanky Premier League kit. Yeah, maybe. We certainly want that year to be a good one. So, fingers crossed. But hopefully we can get it before that, but we'll see. Steve says, never watched a live pod before and thoroughly enjoyed watching, but feel absolutely depressed at the same time. Well, I don't want you to jump on the comments and feel depressed, mate. I want you to be here and be happy. You never know. We might do one of these at a time when Boro are performing a bit better. It just happens to be that we've picked a time where we're not. And there's quite a big talking point around Boro at the minute anyway. King Eli says, Bangura might have been training, but I think I can stay fit for longer than him, and I can't walk. Oh, God. Well, I hope, firstly, Bangura does walk again. But, yeah, he's been unlucky with injuries, has Bangura. Yeah, he's been massively unlucky. I'm going to stick a poll in the comments. What should I... I'll stick up, let me think. What do you think? Just to give an idea of what you guys think. So, I'm dropping a poll in the comments to see what you guys think will happen on Friday. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. What do you think the result will be on Friday? I was going to do one of Carrick, but we've discussed that quite a bit. So let's see what you guys think the result will be on Friday. And we'll finish up in... Yeah, we're approaching 2 hours, aren't we? So we'll probably finish up in the next 10 minutes. So chuck any questions in if you've got any more questions before we finish up. Jack says, maybe it's the logo that's cursed. Yeah, I thoroughly agree. This logo right here only reminds me... Sorry, I shouted into the mic there. Only reminds me of sad times. That logo, I think, is cursed. I do 100% believe that. Since we got that logo, we've got relegated. Had one season in the Premier League and, for the most part, been miserable. So... yeah, the round badge, all I think about is success. And cup finals and European football and Premier League football. And I do believe, as I say, from what I gathered in the event I went to a few weeks back, or a few months back, I think we are very much going back to a modernised version of the round badge with 1876 on it, not 1986, which is awesome. That's all the fans want. They're not asking for a big revamped, snazzy... brand new singing and dancing badge. All fans want is a modernised version of the old badge, and I think that's what we'll get. So maybe that's when our fortunes will turn. King Eli says, saying that I do like Bangura. He's one of our better left backs. I agree, and I hope he can remain like that when he comes back. Daniel says, I'm praying once we get a win somewhere, we will kick on. I don't know if I can see that happening. Yeah, you can hope that it might spark a run. I mean, it could, but as I say, Boro's longest winning streak this season was 3. In that run where we hit QPR for 4, Luton for 5 and Oxford for 6. The other run was when we beat Stoke 2-0 and West Brom 1-0 at the Hawthorns at the very start of the season. So again, we're relying on Boro doing something they've not done much this season. Jeff says, do you know what the new badge looks like? No, as I was saying, no, I don't think anybody does who is not the designer of it. But yeah, from what I gauged from the event we went to and what I've just heard kicking about, it's going to be like the round badge we had prior. Just a modernised version with probably a more modernised font, 1876 instead of 1986, and the same red lion in the middle. That was the vibe I got. We're keeping the lion. We're going back to a rounded badge. It'll be very much like the old one. Some people were like, oh, we're just going backwards then. I don't care. It was a nice badge. It was a great badge. You know, we associate it with happiness and success and positivity, and that's what Boro needs. So, yeah, that's what I think will happen. The only question marks were whether we'd have any blue like we did. What badge was it? I don't know if we officially used it on the kits, but we used to have a badge with blue on it with the 3 ships. But I don't think we'll do that. I don't think there'll be any blue on the badge. So that's what I think will happen. I'd safely put my money on it at this point. Davide says, I think Chelsea last year was a prime example of us over 2 legs managed to sneak a win against a great team, but instead of trying to defend the lead, tried to make it too worry that would happen in the playoffs. Yeah, you're spot on, mate. We played a back 3 in that first leg, defended really well, took our chance, and then for some reason we went to Stamford Bridge, went from a back 5 to a back 4, put Howson in the middle of defence, and thought that would work, and kept playing out from the back constantly, even though we were getting pressed and losing the ball constantly. We went to Stamford Bridge, thought we could play our way with a back 4 and somehow come out with a result. In hindsight, it looked like a stupid choice and decision, and it was. We should have went there, put 10 men behind the ball, and just defended for 90 minutes. You know, the last thing we could have done was concede early, which we did, and then the floodgates opened, and from then, I think I turned the telly off when it was like 3-0. It was just ugly. So again, Carrick's game management, you know, it comes into question. It's like in the playoff season when, in the lead up to the playoffs at the end of the season, Carrick rested all of our best players. Took them out the team completely. And I get he'd be worried about them getting injured, but, you know, why did he rest Akpom and Archer and all the best players for some of our last games of the season? You know, there's been some decisions he's made in big moments like that I do question. And the Chelsea game's a worrying example of what we might do in the playoffs. Steve says the logo and Iheanacho have to go. Yeah, well, the logo definitely is going. Iheanacho will be in the summer. We won't be signing him. Don't worry, his wages are astronomical. He's on 50 grand a week, I think, at Sevilla. Yeah. Oh, Iheanacho, bless him. Killingai says, quite pacey and has a good delivery on Bangura. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Jack says, for Carrick, the home form needs sorting out. Every time I watch the Boro at home or on TV, it feels flat and easy for away teams to come and get points. Yeah, you're spot on, mate. The bedrock of a good home side, a good promotion side is home form. If you look at the home form of the top teams in the league, it's obvious where Boro are floundering. I'll drop this in. You guys will probably be a bit shocked at this. But if you don't know, this is why our home form needs to improve. Is it that? Yeah, I think it's that. So that, is the home league table in the Championship. And it is bloody awful. We are 14th in the home league table. And would it surprise you to see the top 4 in the league are the top 4 at home? Home form is absolutely pivotal. And the top 4, between all 3 of them, have lost 3 home games. Sunderland and Burnley haven't lost at all. Sheffield United and Leeds have lost, well, one's twice and the other's only lost once. We've lost 5 times at home. And we've not far off conceded as many goals as we've scored. So that's one thing Carrick's not improved. And again, it's another must. It's all good as saying, well, we need to keep Carrick and hope that he improves. But home form is getting worse. That will never get you top 6. We would have to be the best away side in the league by a mile to get promoted with home form that bad. So until that improves, yeah, you may as well write it off. It's a write-off. Yeah, Leeds have as many points at home as we do. Yeah, they do. That's what we have to do. We have to improve at home. Otherwise, you may as well not bother, because away from home, you've got to be absolutely perfect if you've got home form that bad. And then the away league table, I mean, we've always been a decent home team under Carrick, anyway, a decent away team under Carrick. I think last season we were 6th in the home league table, and the away league table, sorry, keep getting them mixed up. In the away league table last season we were top 6. We're not as bad, but that's where we are away from home. So we're 14th in the home table, 9th in the away league table. I mean, still, shock, the top four. And Burnley are quite ridiculous, to be honest, with the goals they've let in on the road. But, away from home, we've still lost 7 games, which is crazily and not good enough at all. 3 of them have just come in the last 3, though, so prior to recent form, we probably were a top 6 away side, but yeah, we've got to be where Burnley are, and Sheffield United, you probably have to say, away from home, to then, carry this really bad home form. So, yeah, that's got to improve massively. Massively got to improve. And CARRICKS, he's never quite improved our home form. So until that improves, you may as well just not bother. Tom has jumped on. All right, mate. Always see you on the old X. I remember perhaps you saying it a month or 2 ago with our terrible home form, it would require us to slide. Is a dip in the away form. That's happened, and in turn we've slid. Yeah, exactly, mate. You can't rely on being good on the roads. You need good home form. It is the absolute bedrock to give yourself any chance, and we're just so poor under Carrick at home. You think back to that Carrick team. We didn't even concede at home. Never mind drop points. We were a joke that season at home. You went to the Riverside with full knowledge that we would win every single game, or we'd at least not concede and draw at the very least. And that was the best feeling ever. Now I go to the Riverside and I'm just expecting us to throw points away somehow. That is probably, out of the long list of things that need to improve, and there is a long list, that's probably the biggest thing that needs to improve, because it'll affect season card holders as well. Jack says, feel like half the goals we concede at home are mistakes. Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. Putting ourselves under unnecessary pressure. And we will finish off with the last few now, guys, because we've been going for a while. I'll have to jump off. King Eli says, but equally, when you've lost the fans, the home form isn't going to be great. If Carrick wants to do something, the solid foundations would be build a good relationship. Yep. Most of your fans are at home, so that's where most fans are going to see your team play. So you've got to be better at home. Davide says, thanks for putting on a great night, Matt. I'm coming off now. See you later. And most importantly, up the effing Boro. Yeah, up the effing Boro. Everything crossed for Friday. Steve says, thanks for taking the time by bringing us this live tonight, Matt. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very much appreciate it. The Boro, no problem, mate. King Eli, thanks, Matt. Made a pleasant listen while playing FM. That's the perfect evening, that. Jack says, with ticket prices being the most expensive in the league as well, it probably doesn't help fans. Yeah, it doesn't. You're right. And that's why I think it's massive they've frozen the season tickets this season. That's the least they could do. Christ, if they'd have put them up, they might have been riots. So then, a quick look at the poll then. So exactly half you think that we'll draw on Friday night against Bristol City, and that it is split down the middle between whether we'll win and or lose. Not and lose, win or lose. In fact, it's just changed, 32%. So a few more think we'll win, but most of you guys think we'll draw. Yeah, I'll stick with my prediction in my Project Boro preview. I think we'll draw. I'm hoping we'll draw. We very well might lose, because I thought we'd get a result at Sheffield United, and look what happened. So who knows? But I'm going to end it there, guys. Yeah, a big thank you for jumping on. I don't know how regular we can make these. As I say, I've found myself with an evening to myself completely. So we might do these a little bit more often. Maybe could be a good thing to do during international breaks or in the middle of a week where Boro don't play. And maybe I'll try and get Chris on, actually, at some point. But me and him will be doing a podcast next in the middle of March, so probably another 4 weeks from now once he's back from Florida. God knows where we'll be in 4 weeks. God knows where we'll be in 4 weeks. But yeah, I'll be back, guys. Saturday to review what happens at Ashton Gate. Biggest game of Michael Carrick's managerial career. And yeah, must win. Simply put, I think he needs 2 wins in his next 2. So the most pivotal time during Michael Carrick's current tenure. So yeah, thanks for jumping on, guys. Thank you for spending your time or committing your time to jumping on and chatting. Really, really appreciate it, as well as your support as always throughout the channel. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time for the... I will drop a video predicting the weekend's round of championship games. I think I'm going to do that this week. And of course, we'll review Boro's game against Bristol City on Saturday. But thanks for jumping on. Thanks for supporting as always, guys. If you've been listening and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Albeit you can only comment if you're a subscriber. But if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And yeah, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a few days' time. Have a good evening.